Mrs. O'Brien's thought of the day is we live and we learn. Okay, so in Canvas, you have your assignment, which is GIMP colors. You're going to use this link to access the assignment. That link takes you here. In this assignment, you're going to learn how to resize, hue, saturation, crop selection, and zoom in and zoom out. Under instructions, your first one is preparation. You're going to create a folder on your desktop, not your Z drive, your desktop, named A14 Colors. So to do that, I go down here to my libraries, I select my desktop, and I click New Folder. I title this one A14 Colors, and I hit Enter. Now that step is done. Next, I'm going to open GIMP. I'm going to go to my Start button, and I'm going to type in GIMP. GIMP Shop will appear, and I'm going to click on that. Okay, once GIMP is open, we want to make sure that we have the toolbox with the tool options open, as well as the Layers menu. You can find everything that you need under the Windows tab and dockable dialogues. You'll have tool options and layers. Those are the two that you want to make sure are open right now. Next, you're going to go File, New, Template. You're going to choose the template that is a letter template. It's going to be 8.5 by 11, which is the normal piece of paper size. And we're going to click OK. Now that's going to look pretty small, and when we put the images on it, they're going to look pretty small too. So we want to zoom in. To do that, we're going to View, Zoom, and you can zoom in. You can do different ratios of zoom, but it's better if you just zoom in and out one step at a time. So now we're going to go File, Open as Layers. Everything that we do, we're going to open as a layer. We're going to choose the first image, and we're going to click Open. With my Move tool selected, the 4 arrows in all directions, I can move that dude up into my top left-hand corner. Now I can File, Open as Layers, my second image. When I click on the second picture and click Open, this Convert to RGB working space pops up. I'm going to click Convert. It's going to tell me there's an error. I'm going to click OK. Error again. I'm going to click OK. It pops up just fine without it. Then I'm going to File, Open as Layers, my third image. I'm going to move my businessman over. File, Open as Layers, my fourth image, the kiddos with their dog, and File, Open as Layers, my fifth image. Now, when you open as layers, it stacks the layers, kind of like stacking cards in a deck. So let's move that out of the way and go back to our directions. Now the first picture we're going to manipulate is the businessman. We're going to apply color and threshold. So let's go back to GIMP. Okay, to select the businessman to work with, we have to select the correct layer. So when I select this layer, you'll see the dotted line around the businessman. Then I'm going to go to Colors and Threshold, and it applies the threshold. If I move this menu over, I can then move this back and forth, right and left. And I need to find a place where I'm happy that I can see enough of him that he's not entirely blacked out, but he's not entirely white either. When I'm happy, I click OK and go back to my directions. The second set of directions, or the second picture, is we're going to change the brightness and contrast. So I'm going to find the layer that has the archway, and I'll select it here in my layers menu, and it'll have the dotted lines around it. Then I'm going to go to colors and brightness and contrast, and now I can change the brightness. See, that makes it look like it's away at night. This makes it look more like morning. And the contrast, so you can kind of play with that, and now it looks like the sun's coming up instead of the sun's going down. When you've got levels that you're happy with, click OK. And let's go back to the directions. The third picture is the boy with the binoculars. We're going to choose him, and we're going to color desaturation and then change brightness and contrast. So we're going to find the layer with the boy with the binoculars, and we're going to do color desaturate, which turns it into a black and white photo. We have three choices: lightness, luminosity, or average. I like lightness, that's what I'm going with, and choose OK. Then the directions say to change the brightness and contrast. So colors, brightness, and contrast. I can up those or darken the brightness and give it more contrast or less contrast. When I feel like I've got a pretty good picture, click OK, and you're done with that one. Then we go back to our directions, which says we're going to do the three little boys and their golden retriever, and it says color desaturation. So we're going to open GIMP again, and we're going to choose the layer that has the three boys with their dog, which is this one. And we're going to color, go to colors, and desaturate. Let's look at the directions again. So we're just desaturating that one. And this menu says lightness, luminosity, or average. So let's choose luminosity this time and click OK. The final picture, the directions say to invert the colors. So we are going to choose the final layer, which is this layer right here. We're going to go colors, invert, and that's it. Excuse me. Every time I start, something goes wrong. So yes, I just had to pause to sneeze, and you didn't even notice because of the way the video's cut. Moving on. So we have inverted that color. All of these 5 pictures are on our template that is a page the size of a normal sheet of paper. If we go back to the directions, our third instructions say to add your images in MS Word and submit. However, that's not what we're going to do. We are going to go File, Export, and then it says under Name, it says untitled.png. So I'm going to name this Colors and my last name. You should name it Colors and your last name. .png. Where do you want to save it? You want to save it on your desktop and in your Colors folder. Click Export. Click Export again. And it is exporting. So now if we go down into our library, into our A14 colors, you will see that you have this Colors, your last name, PNG. Now when you go into Canvas, you can submit that assignment. That's all for today. I look forward to the next assignment.